We are in the middle of winter. What does that mean? Well, it is cold, but nobody wants to bring those cold temperatures following them into their homes. Let's keep the cold outside. Let's lock the heat in. Who's with me? I am. To make sure your home furnace is doing its job, builder and home renovator Ryan Thompson is joining us this morning. So good to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
It's so important at this time of year, too. We want to make sure our furnace is working really, really well. So let's break down the do's and don'ts. Let's start with the filter.
Yeah, the filter is a big one. So, you know, what people have to remember is every 90 days at minimum, you should be changing your filters.
Oh, really?
At minimum. I recommend every 30 days you do a little peek and check to make sure. And to kind of provide some contrast, you can see two filters here. You can see one that is extremely full.
Right.
Versus a new one. So it's pretty significant. No, this is real.
Right?
This is real dust. This is real dust.
Oh, wow. So how long would that have been, this filter in? Would that have been
so
like
you know
a 30?
What? This we actually were doing a renovation work, so this accumulated in like 30 days. There's a lot of dusting and demo that took place, so.
It's pretty gross. Like you think about the fact that you and your children and anyone else living in the home, you're breathing all that in.
Breathing that in, right?
Yeah,
so it's important. And another thing on filters is that when you are shopping for a filter, you want to make sure that you have the right MPR rating.
What does that mean?
That just pretty much is filtration level.
Okay.
Right? So on your filters, you'll have two numbers. You see tier 2200. Okay. This is a different brand. You see 600. I recommend anything over 2000. That's going to give you enough filtration level. Something like this, 600, it's not adequate.
Okay, so something above 2000. Okay, that's a great tip. Next up, the venting around furnaces. Talk to us about that.
So it's very common that I see people, they'll block their furnace filters or their supplies, right? Put some furniture over it. Maybe they have their drapes. It's taking up space. You don't want to do that, okay?
How come?
Because it can restrict the airflow to your system. So you have to remember the HVAC systems, they're pulling air, but they're also pushing air. So if you're restricting where it's pulling air from, you're restricting your system's flow, you're overworking your system, and it's gonna give you some problems.
Yeah, you need to make sure there's clearance there so it can pull that air in.
Very important.
Okay, let's talk about it being so dry. How many of us, and I know a lot of you at home too, you wake up in the morning, you're just like, oh, it's so dry in your house. You've got a solution.
Yeah, the solution is turn on your humidifier. And if you don't have one, get one. So humidifier on HVAC units, they're attached to them, and what they essentially do is they just promote moisture through your home.
So we're looking at some visuals here right now, so that like you could go and check out. A lot of people may not know it's there,
right? That is there, yeah.
So it's just a flick of a switch?
Yeah, and so you'll see this one has a winter, summer one that you just flick it on. Some people, if you have a different model or older type, maybe it's just an on-off switch. So there's different options, but yeah, it's gonna be attached to your humidifier. It's very crucial.
And it helps with your floorboards too. Also,
expansion, contraction.
Right. If you're ever wondering why your floorboards are like there's a lot of space in them in the winter months, colder months, check on your humidity, right? Yeah. Why should we get a smart thermostat?
So smart thermostats are great. They have all these built-in features in them that allow you to be eco-friendly, save energy. It can tell if you're in a room, not in a room, and kind of adjust your system accordingly. But the reason why I really love them is because with some, you can have this thing called a smart sensor. So what that allows you to do is in each of your bedrooms have an additional temperature reading point. Because majority of your thermoses, they only read from wherever the actual unit is located, right? So some people experience a warm upstairs and then a cold downstairs. This smart sensor helps monitor and control that, where you could say, you know what, don't read my main sensor, read my upstairs bedroom where I'm in, and let's make sure the temperature is correct there.
I know smart's in the name, but it really is smart. Because think about how many times, especially in these older houses, you've got like the heat distribution is just so wacky, right?
Yeah, you're not gonna redo your HVAC system, right? No. So this is a good solution to kind of help.
That absolutely is great. Ryan, great tips. Thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.